Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. My name is Splattercat, and today we are running down Count Grainwad because he's kind of a douchebag. And it's going to be a pretty big battle, I think. Let's tell him to surrender or die. We will drink from your skull. At which point, oh, it's 400 versus 133. This will be a good experience gaining for our units anyways. These battles where you've really got the advantage, they aren't worth much renown, but at the same time, they really do serve to kind of distribute some free XP to your troops in a long-term battle. I'm going to leave everybody on charge because I don't really care about our losses right now. Everything we have is like Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3. And we desperately need them to be higher up the chain. This looks like a fairly elite army, so attacking it with maybe 2 times the force and getting to the point where we can eliminate it at the same time is going to be very beneficial to our overall campaign. Vaegirs is fielding some very sizable campaign map armies right now, which leaves us in the unfortunate situation of being on the defensive a lot of the time. And since the AI is not so good at maintaining their armies and making sure that, you know, they're always stocked up with high-tier units, at least not to the extent that a player can be. I know you didn't just try and claymore my horse, my friend. Deploying mines all up here on the battlefield, that ain't right. This is medieval combat. We have these places where I live called... oh, medieval times, I think it's what it's called, and it's sort of like a theme park. Like, you eat dinner and you watch jousting and people fighting and stuff like that, and it's pretty amazing. It's a form of entertainment that I really like. I wish there was more of them. Basically, it's Chuck E. Cheese for alcoholic adults that like to go to Ren fairs. That's the way that I would describe it if I had to add, like, a certain amount of if I had to add a certain amount of specificity into my description, that's what I would call it. If you like going to like Chuck E. Cheese for adults, drinking lots of beer, and watching people hit each other with blunt objects, it is the stuff. Oh, I thought I got that guy. I was feeling pretty confident about that swing. Not even going to let him have that one right there. Unfortunately, we're probably going to lose some troops here. Oh, they already peeled him off that horse. You know it's time to take a shower when they have to peel you off your horse. When you get that sound when you pull somebody off the saddle, definitely time for a shower, but it's wartime, so it's okay. Sometimes you gotta be out in the field for a while. I can't judge because I've done field work, like, scientifically, and oh my god, like, after 2 weeks of not bathing, you stink. Like, you try to bird bath as best as you can. Like, when you go into town, you just find, like, random schools. Like, because you'll go into town on the weekend, and there'll be, like, elementary schools or, like, primary schools around, and they always have, like, a giant faucet because they're out in the desert, and for whatever reason, I guess nobody has an actual running water system out in the desert, but what they do have is they have these giant tanks of water, and they typically kind of just leave them unsecured. And so what you do is you just bring a bucket and you take kind of a bird bath while you're there, but it's not the same. It's not the same as a real shower. It really isn't. Especially if you're someone like me who likes to shower like 80 times a day. One of those people that really prefers not to be greasy and sticky at any given time. Oh, that's unfortunate. We had to call in reinforcements. I was hoping our losses would not be so grand. I was hoping they would stay... well, God, what? Stop that, you, sir. Sir, I will hit you. I will hit you in the face repeatedly, sir. Sir, I will file a complaint with HR. I always thought that, like, the Geneva Convention was like the HR of war. That's who you would file your complaints with. But then again, it always seems to me like people just don't follow the Geneva Convention when it's not convenient. They're just like, eh... they just... oh my god. I no longer have a horse. That's too bad, because I really did enjoy having a horse. It was kind of a symbol of status for me. Let's see if we can't wrangle this one. Now, horsey! Horsey, I know you're scared right now. Let me touch you. And the horse is like, that doesn't make me feel any less scared. I still don't know you. Stranger danger, man. This should be... I think that's the last guy over there. I don't see anybody else. He's trying to flee the field, too. Are we cheering now? We flinging our blades towards the sky. Absolutely. Fantastic. The battle is over. What did we lose? We lost 21 men. Only 9 were actually killed, though, so that's good. As opposed to our enemies' 108. We may have to do a second battle. Yeah. It broke that one off early. Weak. Super weak sauce. I think I'm just going to sally out and we'll just get into a fight right now. See if we can't end this thing. I'd like to give as much XP to Mad Dog McGriddle as I can anyways, because as you get further up towards level 30, it starts to take forever to level up. And if we can get some more leadership now, I would prefer to keep that where it is. Being able to field like 120 guys tends to be pretty important once you're running your own faction. Looks like we've run right into their spear wall on accident. Which is bad if you're on a horse. I mean, it's bad if you're anybody. Nobody wants to run into a wall of spears. I think I saw them selling Wallow spears at Walmart one time, but anyways, definitely don't want to end up there if you can help it. In some of the mods, there's an order you can give to fix spears, which is particularly nasty because it pretty much renders all cavalry more or less obsolete, like they just don't exist anymore for you. Having cavalry becomes a liability, and what you find is that everybody just runs spear walls from then on, and you just kind of run your big blob of spears into other people's big blobs of spears. Alright. Over quite rapidly. Those things look like they've got like a pomegranate on a stick. Je suis le pont. I am the apple. I don't know why it reminded me of that, but we did do some capturing here, which I'll take. We'll go all of these, because they're all fairly high tier. Except for the footman. He can stay behind. He's like, oh, I wanted to ride around in your prison convoy and eat swill. Damn it. Let's go back and make sure that we're upgrading everybody to what they need to be. And as I had hoped, that big battle did distribute a lot of XP around that allows us to bring people up to the forefront with regards to their experiential superiority. Let's continue pumping out units here. 6 more men-at-arms, so that puts us at 9 cavalry now. We're almost there. It's going to take us a bit to recover. These warriors are set to become veterans reasonably soon. We've got 1 knight right there. We'll put him up at the forefront. How are we doing on infantry? So we've got him right there. We don't have any guards. We've got about 10 infantry, so we're not quite fleshed out yet. We're not fleshed out yet. I would prefer to be, but we're not there yet. Am I still supposed to be following Gulisin around? I think I am. It's been like an hour or so since I recorded the last episode, but as I recall, we're supposed to be following this douche around while he just rides in circles in the countryside. Not going to do any of his quests because I really don't feel like it. Not feeling like it at all. Our wages are starting to stack up a little bit. Sargoth is the only stick in our eye at the moment. Only stick in the mud if we prefer to keep things out of our ocular cavities. Svadia has declared war against the Kyrgyz, and while that may seem sort of inconsequential, that does help keep them off our backs with regards to our castle. They will be eyeballing to get it back, believe you me, so we'll leave it as it is. Having a little bit of a diversion never killed anybody, though. And at this point, since he just summoned us all... What is this? He's decided to confer Destural on you. You may decline the honor, but you will not... Yeah, I'll accept it. What's Destural? Let's look. We could take a look at our reports menu, and then we can go to our budget report. Destural... Oh my god. Hello. Is Destural one of the big cities? Or is that just back rent? Okay, that's just a ton of back rent, so that's probably been sitting there a while waiting on delegation. But I will absolutely take the 8,000 dinars they've decided to hand off to us. We're going to keep following Gulisin. Hopefully he doesn't hang a righty right there because we need to go get ourselves some more supply. I'm going to grab something out of Tulga. Hopefully they've restocked. Indeed they have. So we'll grab some grain, some bread, and some cheese. Just enough to tide us over for a little bit until this following quest is over. Gulisin's hanging out right there. Can I make any supply runs to anywhere else? Maliurg's looking okay, so I guess not. Suppose we'll just sort of put up posts right here and wait for him to sally back on out and head... Was that him right there? No, that was somebody else. Okay. He's laying waste to Destural. Where is Destural at? It's down here. Let's see if we can't run him off. Or at least distract him a tad. Well, he's running from us, which is a positive. He's got a way bigger force, which makes me a tad confused as to why he feels the need to run away. But if we can do the little dog big bite thing, I don't mind. I'll take a victory however I can get it. Let's continue pumping into infantry right there. Veteran crossbowman, yes please. Let's see if we can get him the hell away. There's also another strategy, so let's assume for a moment that he decided to attack us. What we could have done in that case... It's really strange that he's running from us. He might just be scared of us, period. But anyways, what we could have done in that case is we could have kited him away so they will follow you a short distance, and you can drag them far enough to where it breaks off and resets their raid timer. Kind of an interesting... Oh, it's because he's only got tribesmen. Let's fight him. I realize that may not seem like the best idea right now, but yeah, let's get on in there. Let's shove our fist up in this problem and see if we come out with a big V. He attacked our kingdom, so if he attacked our village, we do have the sovereign right to defend ourselves. I would prefer to make him subject to getting shot by our crossbowmen though first. So let me pull my archers back and get them up on a hill. And this is also going to separate him from his reinforcement. That's the other plan. Is that when we've whittled away enough of his troops, so let's say we've salted the fields with the blood of our foes and we've done a little bit of victorializing. Once we've done that, the nice thing about this is that when he has to reinforce, we're next to this back wall, which means his troops come from over there. They have to ride all the way across the field just to get at us, versus the opposite effect. When we reinforce, it's just going to be right there behind us. I'm not seeing a whole lot of casualties happening, so let's just get in here and fight. We've got them out-tiered hard, so whatever. And I don't mean in terms of crying. Our troops are emotional, though. Our troops do enjoy a good cry every now and again. I don't blame them. As long as they're efficient in combat, they can cry about whatever they want. Let's see if I can kill at least 2 or 3 of these guys, bust up their lines slightly. The spearmen and the guys with the hay hooks are going to be a problem, but not one that I can't deal with. And their reinforcements appear to have come from the right instead of coming from the backfield like I was hoping. There are going to be a lot of arrows flying around, so we want to be careful about keeping our shield up. Because at any moment we might just catch an arrow to the back. Yeah, there it is right there. Not unexpected, but let me get a little bit of cover behind a human shield here. A wall of human shields. When one shield just isn't good enough. Ooh, and our shield... Oh, our shield didn't break. I thought our shield broke, but I guess they fired in between it or something somehow. Stranger things have happened. And this seemingly low-tier combat will serve to level us up a little bit. I really, really, really need this army. Having 2 armies that are way up the tier is way better than having 1 army, because then what I could do is I can go back to Malierg, and we can sort of pick and choose. We can take the guys we want, and we can leave the ones that we want to use as guards. You see what I mean. We've only lost 1 veteran footman, which is really, really, really good. For a battle that size, not losing anybody to crossbows, amazing victory. There's 67 versus 4. We're just going to ride this thing out. We should have grabbed a little bit of renown for that battle as well. I think it was probably maybe 10 or 11 renown because we were outnumbered by almost 50%. I'm being generous with my percentage right there, but being outnumbered does help you accumulate that renown. And when you're trying to get yourself a nice big juicy army, because I don't like my armies dry, I don't like them on the well done side. I think that might be why I don't get along with the Saranids, is because they're a little over dry. They're down in the sun all day and lots of sand and just saltiness. But anyways, if you wanted your army to kind of be nice and thick and juicy, it helps to have a lot more renown. That little skirmish was over quickly. He doesn't have anything that I feel like capturing. A hardened tunic. The fact that that's a cloth piece of gear and it's hardened is incredibly disgusting, and I wouldn't let that anywhere near my body. I mean, we are lords after all. We are lords. Let's make sure that we keep it classy, you guys. Khergit tribesmen. Everything I own is recruiting Khergits, and I really, really hate that. It upsets me because the Khergits have no unit that I prefer to use in battle. They're all just sort of... I forget where I left Gulison. I think I rode off to help my kingdom out. He's probably over here. Yeah, there he is. So he's got more tasks for us. Let's do our upgrades really rapidly. So we got 4 more men-at-arms, which means we are fielding a fairly substantial cavalry army at this point. 15 guys, not terrible. A 15-man cavalry charge will hurt in this game. We've got our first Swadian sharpshooter, which also works out. We've got a couple of veterans coming on up. Saranids, I may start splitting off horsemen because we did lose some of our Swadians in there, which makes me a little concerned. We may start making a couple Mamluks. Our first guard, which is nice. Oh, they come with a shield and a battle axe. Alright, I'll take it. I thought they used 2-handers. They might have the capability to still. I just don't see it happening. I guess we'll go with infantry. We need an infantry force. That's the unfortunate part, is you really need boots on the ground so that you can use your cavalry effectively. It's one of those things where they sort of hold hands and skip across the field together. You can't have one without the other. It's difficult to play. Rhodox has declared war against Vaegirs. That's really good because we need as many people fighting Vaegirs right now as we can manage. They are dominating the game board right now. I mean, they are just swooping. Oh, never mind. Things have happened. Things have happened and occurred. They were sweeping the field the last time I looked, but it looks like they've been beat back really efficiently. Well then, I'm still waiting for Nords to make their victorious ride out, trying to pull like a sort of Rohirrim thing, but I'm not seeing it just yet. We're still hanging out with Gulison. I think we're going to get a lot of XP for this escort quest, but we will break this off. Dashbiga. Oh, there he goes. He's off again. Let's go ahead and put ourselves in accompaniment mode. We shall follow him right along. Have any upgrades ready to go? Good, one more night. Which sounds a little bit dirtier than I actually meant it. Where are we going? We're going somewhere. We're definitely on the warpath right now. We need to buy food. I keep forgetting. Let's grab some grain and some bread while we're out and about. Sausages. I enjoy a good sausage every now and again. You can quote me on that one. Let's see here. In general, it's just bratwurst, though. Like, there's nothing like a good beer and a ton of bratwurst. I can just sit and make myself sick eating all that. Just all day. Just a glutton for bratwurst. Still not going to do any of his quests. It looks like we're going to hit Jamayed. So let's hit up Jamayed. Oh, maybe not. Maybe we're going to back off. Why would you ride me all the way out here? I hate it when people ride me for long distances and then don't even have, you know, they don't even buy you dinner first. They just ride you all the way there. It may be because we're not doing his quest. I've noticed that sometimes you can totally break off the campaign by not doing the little quest right here, but that sort of raises the question that it makes me wonder if you could raise a reasonable amount of XP by waylaying the entire campaign as long as possible, just following people around. We've recovered everything that we've lost there just on back rents from Dusturl, which is really cool. And what you'll see here is that Peshmi did 180 more dinars this turn than they did last turn, or last 2 weeks. That's really, really good. That means they're growing at a reasonable rate, and I would love, absolutely love, to keep my cities growing. Figures made peace with the Kyrgyz. Let's see what Gulison wants right now. We'll turn him down if it's something that I don't feel like doing. Yeah, I'm not going to do the heads of cattle because that quest sucks. I'm accidentally clicking on random people here. Got Despin's hanging out over here. I think Despin is normally with Swadia. There's traders everywhere. Peshmi's okay. I'm glad we did a ride by. Sometimes I get nervous about my territories. You still want 6 heads of cattle. Not going to do it still. And it looks like we may get to do Unuzdak before we get out of here. 90 men, not a huge garrison. I think I could probably knock this one over by myself. But I'm going to wait for the battle to start. We're not going to go in too early. We don't want to be the guy that's going in first, like showing up for the party early. Nobody likes that guy. He's standing on your porch like 30 minutes before the party's actually supposed to start. He's holding potato salad, and you're like, dude, this is a kegger. Why did you bring potato salad? I suppose he's only trying to be polite, so his potato salad will be allowed for now, but... Put some arrows on some guys over here. Not dealing a lot of damage because they're all in chainmail. This castle has really, really good cover. I'm just sort of looking at this thing, and they can fire a lot of arrows from a lot of different directions. It forces you to get shot at from behind, too, which is kind of an unpleasant side effect. Are they fire? Oh my god, how did they get up there? Wow, this is a castle right here. I envy the Lord. I envy the Lord who gets to keep this thing. It may take us a bit to break this line. The only thing that we can hope is that most of these units that are dying are not actually ours, they belong to our enemy. What I may attempt to do is take the archers and just sort of situate them over here so that they can fire at everybody in different directions. Give us a little bit of spiral fire. Plus, you don't really want your archers on the ladder. They tend to do a really, really piss-poor job of breaking the line. The people we want up on the line right here are two-handers who can break through shields, force people to get annihilated, get obliterated, get owned, get worked, my friend. I'm going to walk backwards up this ladder. I mean, I don't think I'm talented enough to do that. Walking and chewing gum is difficult enough. Walking backwards up a ladder seems like a recipe for heartache. But at the same time, so now what I'd like to do is now we bring in the archers. So I'm going to command the archers to hold this line right here. and they'll fire at anybody that gets in the way. I don't know where his reinforcements respawn from. We're getting shot with arrows by somebody. Probably these guys up at the top. Let me get behind this little murder hole right here. Nail him in the face really fast. Insanely close quarters combat. I think he's just got a lot of knights. That's the main problem. He's got such a huge density of knights. They can look how much damage that knight is taking. I mean, knights are rough. They can be a big pain in the ass. Let's get up into this little parapet right there, and we'll figure out how the hell to get at that thing in just a minute. This castle is ridiculous. Are you serious, right? How am I the only person that gets shot out of this huge group of people? Like, really? This is incredibly disappointing. Like, insanely disappointing. Especially since as you start to run troops everywhere, it's just like losing morale like this is not a feasible strategy in the long run. But there's just so many arrows in all these battles that I've always felt like a huge amount of RNG goes into this. I don't like it when there's battle continue. I'm just gonna leave. I don't even want to be part of this anymore. We're gonna lose too many troops if I auto-resolve it anyways. We lost all of our men-at-arms, which is great. It means I have to go on a giant recruiting spree. Apparently the only people that didn't die were the infantry, which are supposed to be the guys that are going up the ladder first. So that was a giant FU to my entire strategy. That leaves me... my god. Disenfranchised and irritated is how I would describe my feelings right now. We got 2,500 experience, which is like nothing for the amount of time we followed them around. That's a disappointing... Basically everything about this war is disappointing right now. I'm not happy. I don't like the way all that went down. Vaegirs is controlling way too much land right now to the point that it's just irritating. Calradia is not in good shape. It is segmented, busted up, and nobody's making any sort of... They took Amarad. So why would the campaign AI focus on taking a crappy little castle like Unuzdak instead of going down here and defending the property that actually matters? The AI just makes no sense sometimes. Like, the AI seems like it sabotages itself. It is completely incapable of running any type of campaign intelligently. It just does stupid stuff left and right, and it's something that I really feel needs to be fixed. Like, who would go on the offensive against a tiny little castle that doesn't matter versus a capital city, which really, really does? And all it's going to take is like one shot to the foot here for this to end. Come down with the overhead, take out that bandito. They can't swing as fast as I can, so I've got to keep that in mind while we go into battle here. And just kind of press my advantage as much as I can. I don't really need to trade blows. Trading blows is only one of those things you have to do back when you swing slow at the beginning of the game. Now that we're whipping that blade around at max speed, doing all kinds of damage, not a big concern. Let's go back out and we're going to recruit some more Swadians, since we do need cavalry. Our cavalry has just been getting butchered. And after we finish recruiting, I may break off the episode. I'll start thinking about what I want to do with the third episode. But for now, it appears as though we've held the Vaegirs off. And I don't think they're going to be pressing too much deeper into our territory. I would expect the war to break off probably within the next 2 weeks against Vaegirs, simply because they're not making amazing gains. Like, sure, they took a little bit of the Saranid Sultanate, but at the same time, they've lost quite a bit up here. They've lost a little bit over here. The Kyrgyz are making big pushes back into their territory over here. They've retaken Ikamur. They're probably going to come after Malyurg pretty soon, which is why I'm so concerned with our recruiting and getting top-tier troops taken care of. But anyways, I digress. Maybe go check with some of these little territories up here. Maybe get some Nordic troops. Is Asgard? Okay, so Asgard is looted. I think I raided Ryablet back in the day, so we may not be able to loot from there. I'm sorry, we may not be able to recruit. Oh, we did. Good. Alright, well, we've got that covered. We're up to 85. We can almost have 100 units. We are so close to triple digits, you guys. If we can get to triple digits, I will be amazed and happy, because that'll mean we have a force to be reckoned with. Got a Vagier army sort of running around down here randomly. If we can outrun him... Oh, we can. Well, maybe I'll save that for the next episode. Do a few more upgrades. Got our first batch of Huskarls finally back up. Let me rearrange who's going to go into battle. I need all my elite guys up at the forefront ready to roll so that we don't end up with a bunch of just noobs running into battle. We don't need those level 2 noobs with their rusty swords getting into trouble. Some sharpshooters, so we want those up at the top too. And I'll be square with you guys. I'll be honest, I really like Swati and Militia. The fact that they come with a crossbow is pretty badass for a low tier unit. They only get a club though as their melee weapon, which is a bit of a letdown. We are breaking even. Destoral looks like it's fairly wealthy. We're getting more money from it than we're getting from Maliorg, which is pretty sweet. I guess I picked the wrong castle to take, which is slightly... Well, I guess it's just indicative of the kind of luck. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. I'm going to break the episode off right here. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me at the Nerd Castle for another episode of Mountain Blade Warband. I will see you guys in the next episode, and take care out there, everybody.